brought to you by the Heart of New Ulm Project, whose 10-year goal is to reduce or eliminate heart attacks in New Ulm. I'm Lori Wightman. I'm the administrator at New Ulm Medical Center, and with me tonight is Darren Grove. What are we going to be making tonight?
Tonight, Lori, we're going to do a halibut Osso Buco and ground brown rice pilaf. A traditional Osso Buco is taking veal shanks, you brown them on the oven, and then you put them in a tomato-based sauce until they fall off the bone tender, about 3 hours. We are substituting halibut tonight for a lean source of protein. Lori and I cook for halibut for a couple of reasons. Number one, because we love the flavor, and number two, we get it fresh in Alaska. In fact, this guy was caught by Lori. That's about a 50-pound halibut. It's lean white meat. It's very dense. It's very easy to cook with. So to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to start with the mirepoix. And Osso Buco gets on the top of the stove for about 50 minutes or 1 hour. It reduces quite a bit. So when we cut up the mirepoix, which is a fancy word for carrot, celery, and onion.
I was just going to ask you what that word meant.
Yeah, we can use rather large chunks because if we get too small of the chunks, as it cooks on top of the oven, they're going to disintegrate and get very soft. So we can cut these into about 1/3 inch pieces. And mirepoix is a very traditional way to start a lot of soups, a lot of stews, and a lot of recipes like this where it's cooked on top of the stove. Try to get the pieces as consistent as we can. I can hear there the pan is hot. Thank you, Lori.
Starting to sizzle there. Hope you're getting out your onion. I better put on my goggles.
Yeah, check this out.
You make fun of these, but they work. Because I cannot cut an onion and not be crying and just in complete pain. So these onion goggles work, and when I'm at the lake, I wear my scuba goggles. That's really nice.
And more importantly, they look good too.
Yeah, don't they?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be crying.
Do you want to add some salt and pepper to that, please?
Sure.
So the first part of the process, we're going to get the vegetables nice and tender. We're going to cook them on top of the stove for about 10 minutes. Then we're going to start adding some aromatics and finally some liquid. And the goal of the liquid is to reduce as much as possible to leave us a nice, dense, tomato-based Osso Buco for our halibut. One thing that's also different, instead of putting the halibut in the Osso Buco, we're going to pan fry it and add it at the very end since it is a fish and we don't want to overcook the seafood. So we'll give that a good stir. And now Lori's going to get us started on the brown rice pilaf.
You're no longer cutting onions.
I think we're safe.
I need a spoon. Okay, I'm going to put a cup of brown rice. I have already warmed up on medium heat. Just a couple tablespoons of olive oil. We use olive oil instead of butter because it's just a much healthier fat to use. And Darren and I kind of gotten used to using olive oil anytime you use butter.
Right.
In fact, instead of grilling our bread using butter, we just brush a light thing of olive oil and it's just as wonderful. So I'm going to add a cup of brown rice into this and just stir this for a couple minutes. Brown rice is a better choice than white rice for a couple of reasons. Actually, white rice started out as brown rice, and then all of the bran is removed from the kernel, making it white. And when you remove all that bran, you remove some of the fiber and the nutrients. So brown rice has a little bit more fiber and nutrients and minerals than what you'll find in white rice. So it's considered a multi-grain.
And for people, Lori, that traditionally cook only with white rice, since it has a band protective coating on it, is there any difference in cooking techniques you use with brown rice?
Yeah, it takes a little longer to cook brown rice, and you need more liquid than you normally would for a white rice. So I've stirred this just for a couple minutes here, and now I'm going to add just a 2-inch slice of lemon peel, but I want to show you the two different things that you want to take into account. I've peeled both of these off the lemon, and you can see this one that I'm going to use doesn't have any of that white pith on it. You want to avoid having getting this white pith because this can be bitter. So you want to try to get it without the white part on it. I'm just going to throw that in. I'm going to put in the juice of a half lemon.
If you hand me the white cup, I can get you some water as well.
I have some.
Okay.
I'm going to add a can of low sodium chicken broth. And again, we choose low sodium things so that we can be more in control of how much salt we're adding. And then I'm going to, remember that extra liquid I talked about, I'm also adding a half a cup of water to this. Now I'm going to get this to a good boil, and once it's boiling, I'm going to put the lid on and let it simmer for 50 minutes. Now once I put this lid on, there's no peeking after that. You don't lift the lid, you don't look at it until it's done in 50 minutes, but I'm going to turn it down to a simmer after I've put the lid on.
Hi, I'm Sadie with the Heart of New Ulm project, soon to be called the Hearts Beat Back. Today I'm here with the Fit in 5 segment to show you some fun things to do outdoors. Backyard barbecues don't have to be a guilty pleasure anymore. I'm here to show you how you can get a workout in your very own backyard or some places, different places around town. Badminton is one of my personal favorite backyard games. If you don't have a net in your very own backyard, you can utilize the ones here at Harmon Park, at Turner Hall, Washington Park, and many other places around town. Another alternative option is to use your clothesline. If you take the birdie and try and keep it off the ground for as long as you can, you have a cardiovascular workout. After 20 to 30 minutes of this fun game with your friends and family, you can surely see your heart rate increasing. Before the fun can begin, someone has to mow the lawn, right? If that person is you, you have an opportunity for a great upper body workout. Be sure to use your arms as you push the mower. Focus on your posture. Yard games are another way to incorporate some physical activity. Today I have ladder golf, but the same rules that I'm going to explain can be applied to beanbag and other fun games. So, if you haven't played ladder golf, it goes something like this. You want to throw the balls to the ladder, and if you don't make it like that, we can apply some rules. I didn't make it, so I have to do 10 jumping jacks. You can also apply other rules like push-ups, sit-ups, depending on the activity level that you're trying to get. Most of us have things laying around in our garage that we don't necessarily always think of as a means for physical exercise or activity. Say, an old jump rope. Jumping rope is a great form of cardiovascular exercise. You can go fast, you can cross the ropes in front of you, and even jump backwards. Do that 20 or 30 times, and your heart rate will sure increase. Running around the yard, playing a game of tag is a great way to incorporate your family and your kids. If you feel a little silly, just ask the kids to play a game of tag. After a while of this, you'll see your heart rate increasing as well, and you're sure to wear your kids out. I'm Sadie from my very own backyard, signing off.
Welcome back. It's 5 minutes later. Our wine is reduced, and now we're going to add our final 7 ingredients to the Osso Buco. And the first thing we're going to add is 1 14-ounce can of chopped tomatoes and their puree.
Now is that chopped or crushed or what?
I think either one would work.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going to add 1 more can of the low sodium chicken broth. We're going to add 1/4 cup of low sodium. Can you add that one? Soy sauce?
Oh, sure.
We're going to add 4 sprigs of thyme. If you don't have fresh thyme, you can use dried thyme. Just give it a good healthy pinch here. And right before the meal is complete, we'll give it 1 final pinch of thyme. We had the fresh handy, so we will add that. 2 bay leaves and the juice of 2 oranges. If you have orange juice in your fridge, you can use orange juice. One of my favorite chefs is the guy from Austria, Wolfgang Puck.
Oh, okay.
And his recipe for cooking is use the freshest ingredients you can and then just merely get out of their way. So
Okay.
we had a couple oranges handy. And we have a glass lid on top of our rice because we want to retain the moisture of the rice as we cook. The object for the Osso Buco is to reduce. We want to eliminate liquid, so we're not going to cover this. We want just the liquid to come up in the air. And while we're doing this, we're going to get our halibut started.
And how long is that going to, is it simmering or boiling or what's it
Yeah,
doing?
it's going to be a very healthy simmer, a light boil. You can be pretty aggressive with this because, again, the idea is to get rid of the moisture. So not a low simmer at all. You can be quite aggressive with the heat on the Osso Buco. We have 6 halibut fillets here, approximately 5 ounces. We're going to add just a little smattering of cayenne pepper. If cayenne pepper is too hot for you, you can leave it out. But it does add nice color.
Or just use regular pepper?
You could, yep, salt and pepper. Since the halibut is a very thick meat, we're going to put it in a cast iron skillet. We're going to brown both sides, and we're going to finish this in the oven. So what we're going to do right now is just get this nice and brown on both sides.
Now, I don't see halibut that often in the grocery store. I do on occasion.
Yep.
If you can't get halibut, can I use some other kind of fish?
You can. This is a very dense sauce, the Osso Buco, so anything with a real firm flesh is going to stand up very well against this. You could use mahi-mahi, you could use swordfish, salmon, you could use a very thick scallop. If in your fridge you have walleye fillets or panfish fillets or something you'd like to use instead, you would just simply pan fry them and you would eliminate the use for the oven.
Oh,
because you
okay.
can cook them adequately in the pan
So
itself.
I can use this for walleye.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Walleye that
System enough.
walleye that you
Some
caught?
walleye.
Yeah. Hi, welcome back. It is now 50 minutes later. The first thing I want you to look at is the sauce. You can see it's reduced quite a bit to approximately 3 cups, which is precisely what we like. It's nice and
wow.
thick.
Look how it started out half that hot.
Right.
Yeah.
Our halibut has been browned on both sides nicely. What we're going to do now is remove the halibut from the pan. And just to gild the lily a little bit, we're going to deglaze the pan with some balsamic vinegar.
What does that mean? Deglaze.
You can see all the brown bits the fish has left behind. Those bits are full of flavor. We want to get those bits up off the bottom of the pan. You can use any liquid and incorporate them into our dish.
How much are you putting in?
Approximately between 1/4 and 1/2 of a cup, depending on how strong your balsamic vinegar is.
Okay.
So we'll scrape up all the brown bits.
Very interesting flavors. Is that part of Osso Buco usually?
No, this is a traditional. This is not traditional Osso Buco. This is the East meets West.
Okay.
We've added citrus, we've added balsamic vinegar, and we've added soy sauce. We're going to return our Osso Buco to the pan.
Okay.
And again, now if you're using a smaller fish or a thinner fillet, if you're using a walleye or a panfish, we would simply put the fish in the pan and we would be done. But since we
Okay.
are using a thicker fish than the halibut, we're going to return the fish to the pan, give it a quick 5 or 10 minutes in the oven, and this dish will be done.
So how high did you set the oven?
The oven is set at 350, and the most common mistake you can make, and what we're not going to do here, is overcooking seafood. When you overcook, it gets really dry. So you can test it with a temperature probe. Medium rare fish should be about 135 to 140 degrees. Luckily, I've cooked enough where I can just feel with my finger.
What are
and know
you
if it's
feeling
done.
for?
It would be just like a medium rare steak. And what they tell you is if you press against your palm, that would be rare. If you clench your palm and feel how firm that is, that would be well done. And somewhere in between,
okay.
like a half clenched palm, would be medium rare.
Oh,
So
well,
that's
good.
in the oven.
Oh, while that's cooking, why don't we check in with Betsy to hear what the latest updates are with Heart of New Ulm Project. Betsy?
Hi, I'm Betsy Pizer with the Heart of New Ulm Project, and I wanted to let you know some information about the Community Health Challenge we have. We had a big kickoff on June 10th, and we were able to give everyone in the community who was interested a free pedometer, a free activity logbook, and a free logoed pin. We'll be having a pickup location at the Chamber of Commerce next Thursday from 8 to 1, and then at the New Ulm Medical Center in the auditorium on Friday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. feel free to stop by and pick up your pedometer and logbook, and off you go. Our Community Health Challenge focus this quarter, June, July, and August, is physical activity. We're encouraging everyone in town to get a minimum of 150 minutes of physical activity each week. Stay tuned for ads in the paper, radio ads, and upcoming events on New Cat that advertise cooking classes, walking groups, and the Bavarian Blast 5K walk, run, or 10K run. Check out our website for more information. We hope to see you out and about in town soon.
Well, while the halibut's cooking, my rice is done. It's been simmering, remember, and I didn't peek for 50 minutes. So I'm going to do a couple fun things with this rice now. I have cut up 4 green onions, and I'm just going to sprinkle that on top. And then I have also chopped up a half a cup of dried cranberries. And boy, this is going to add some color and a little bit of sweetness. Now I'm going to put the cover back on and let it rest just for a couple minutes, and then I'm going to fluff it. But that'll give you enough time to get the halibut out, because I think it's time, isn't it?
Halibut is done. Let's take a look at it.
Yum. Okay, fluffing this up. And I think we have it here, Darren. Osso Buco style halibut and brown rice pilaf. That's it for this edition of What's Cooking New Ulm.
Bon appetit.